Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. In our last session, we talked about the complement system activation and the functions performed by the activated components of the complement system. We also discussed the cell mediated immunity, and in this topic, we talked about different types of T lymphocytes and functions performed by different types of T lymphocytes. In today's session, we are going to talk about immunization in detail, and we are also going to talk about the immune disorders briefly, and the tissue and organ transplantation very briefly. So we begin our session with topic of immunization. What is immunization? Immunization is a process of developing acquired immunity against specific diseases. This process fortifies or enhances the capacity of individual's immune system. The process of immunization can be active or it can be passive. In active immunization, the immune system of an individual is involved and is activated, while in passive immunization, the immune system of an individual is not activated. Whether active or passive, immunization is an artificial type of immunity, which means that person has not suffered from the disease, but by using some process or methods, he or she is being immunized against a specific disease. Active immunization is done by vaccination. So, vaccination is active form of immunization. Now, we are going to see different methods of getting immunized. Different methods can be used to get immunized against different diseases. One of the method is by injecting dead organisms that are not capable of causing the disease but still have some of their chemical antigens. So, vaccines are prepared which are composed of organisms, dead organisms, which are not capable of causing disease but they have the antigenic properties, and such dead organisms are injected into a person. Upon injection into the person, the antigens are going to trigger the immune response, but they will not cause the disease because the organism is dead. So immune system will be activated. It will form antibodies, or it will develop a cell mediated immunity against that antigen, which will help in protecting the person from that particular disease. The examples of immunization which is achieved by this method include the immunization for typhoid fever, whooping cough, and diphtheria. So this is one method of getting immunized by having the vaccines in which dead organisms are there which are not capable of causing the disease but they have antigenic properties to stimulate or to trigger the immune system of that person into which they are injected. The other method is the other method of immunization is by using the toxins which have been treated with chemicals so that Their toxic nature has been destroyed, but they are still capable of stimulating the immune system. The examples include the tetanus and botulism. For tetanus vaccination, or we can say tetanus vaccine contain tetanus toxoid. The tetanus toxoid is the toxin which has been altered so that it does not cause toxicity, but it does triggers the immune response, and it results in formation of antibodies by the person against the toxin, and it helps in protection against diseases, against the tetanus. Immunization can also be achieved by being infected with live organisms that have been attenuated or altered. Attenuation or alteration is achieved by the organism growing in special cultures, or they have been passed through a series of animals until they have been mutated enough so so that they will not cause the disease, but they will still carry the antigenic properties required for immunization. So we have talked about three methods of immunization. The first was by using the dead organisms having antigens, or by using the toxins that have been treated chemically so that they are not capable of causing the disease, but they can trigger the immune response. And the third method is to use the live organisms which have been attenuated. Again, attenuated organisms are not capable of causing the disease, but they can trigger the immune response, and they can cause development of immunity against that specific organism. Examples are smallpox, yellow fever, polio, and measles. Protection against these diseases is achieved by using live attenuated organisms. The other type of immunization is passive immunization. As we just discussed, that in passive immunization, the immune response of a person is not activated. Instead, preformed elements of immune system are transferred into a person. These preformed elements of immune system can be antibodies, or it can be the activated T lymphocytes, or can include the both. But remember, passive immunization is a temporary immunity. Now, antibodies or the activated T lymphocytes are obtained from the blood of someone else or from some animal that has been actively immunized against the antigen. The infused antibodies last in the blood of the recipient for about 2 to 3 weeks, and during that time the person is protected against the disease. So it is temporary immunity which is achieved by infusing the prepared form of the elements of the immune system into a person. Now this slide shows us the method of immunization, how immunization is achieved against different diseases. This part is for immunization, and this is which is obviously is the artificial immunity, and this is part of the diagram shows us the achievement of the natural immunity when the person is actually exposed to an antigenic pathogen. So we have discussed all this in detail. when we talked about the different types of immunity. So we are going to emphasize on this part of the diagram. So when the body is exposed to a pathogen which has been rendered non-virulent, non-virulent means that the pathogen is not capable of causing the disease. So this is a pathogen. It has two parts, portions. Here we can see in this part that this is the virulent portion that will cause the disease, and this is the antigenic portion of the pathogen. When we are doing vaccination, the virulent part have been changed. It has been treated, either we are using a dead organism or there is a live attenuated organism in which the virulence is lost, means that the pathogen is not capable of causing the disease, but antigenic portion is intact, so it can trigger the immune response. So in such a situation, it will trigger the B cells specific for this antigen. Now B cells will proliferate and they will transform into the plasma cells which are going to produce the antibodies. In addition, there is formation of memory cells, and memory cells जो हैं, when there is exposure to the same pathogen again, they will rapidly change into the plasma cells and will produce a rapid and a potent response against that antigen and the pathogen. So it will protect against the pathogen and there will be no disease. This slide shows us the differences between the active and passive immunity, and hence it will reinforce us about the active and the passive immunity. In active immunity, either there is infection of a pathogen or active immunity artificially can be achieved by injection of vaccine. Both active and passive immunity can be artificial or it can be natural. Natural active immunity is when the person is going to have infection because of a pathogen, and because of the infection of the pathogen, he is going to develop the immunity against that pathogen. And in artificial active immunity, the vaccine is injected which triggers the immune response, but person does not actually suffer from the disease. So immune response is triggered, there is formation of antibodies and there is formation of memory cells, and due to formation of antibodies the infection is destroyed, but there is memory of that infection. So in future, infection by same pathogen will produce a rapid and a strong response. In case of passive immunity, again it can be natural or it can be artificial. Natural passive immunity is acquired when antibodies are transferred from mother to the fetus through the placenta, or the antibodies are transferred from the mother to the baby through milk. This is natural passive immunity. The baby does not, the baby's immune system does not form the antibodies. Either prepared antibodies are transferred into the baby's body. It can be artificial by giving the injections of prepared antibodies. In both the situation, this is going to protect against the infection, but this protection is temporary and there is no formation of the memory cells because the immune response itself is not activated in the person, and further infection by the same pathogen is possible. Now we will move on to the disorders of immune system. The disorders of immune systems can be categorized into two groups: the immune deficient disorders and inappropriate immune responses. An example of immune deficient disorders we have done in our previous lecture, that was acquired immunodeficiency syndrome caused by human immunodeficiency virus, which attacks the helper T cells, either causing their destruction or incapacitating the helper T cells so that they become non-functioning, and this non-functioning or deficiency of helper T cells paralyze the entire immune system, because we know from our previous discussions that helper T cells are very important regulators of immune system. So when the helper T cells are defective, the entire immune system is paralyzed and the person becomes susceptible to different various infections. The other group of disorders is inappropriate immune response, in which the immune response is overactive, producing different disorders. For example, allergic reactions can be produced due to inappropriate immune response, or there can be autoimmune disorders. In autoimmune disorders, the antibodies attack the antigens of the body itself, causing the destruction and different manifestations. So, different autoimmune diseases include the rheumatic fever, myasthenia gravis, glomerulonephritis, and systemic lupus erythematosus. In autoimmune diseases, the immune system becomes activated against self antigens. Myasthenia gravis you have studied in detail, and nerve and muscle. Glomerulonephritis we are going to discuss when we are going to talk about the functions of the kidneys. So these are the examples of autoimmune diseases. Now we are going to talk about the allergy and hypersensitivity. Allergy and hypersensitivity is an undesirable effect of immunity. It is the most common type of immune disorder. Allergy is defined as acquisition of an inappropriate specific immune reactivity or hypersensitivity to a normally harmless environmental substance such as dust or pollen. Again, I am repeating that in allergic reactions, the immunity is activated or the immune response is activated against a normally harmless environmental substance such as dust or a pollen. It is not the pathogen against which the immune response is activated. It is the harmless environmental substance against which the allergic response is activated, and examples are dust or pollens. The substances which trigger the allergic response are known as allergens. Allergic reactions can be immediate, or allergic reactions can be delayed. Immediate type of allergic reactions are mediated by IgE antibodies, while delayed type of allergic reactions are mediated by activated T cells. Again, I am repeating that allergic reactions can be immediate or the allergic reactions can be delayed. Immediate reactions are mediated by IgE antibodies, and the delayed type of reactions are mediated by activated T cells. Different forms of allergic reactions include the atopic allergy, anaphylaxis, urticaria, hay fever, and asthma. We are going to briefly talk about the different allergic disorders. First is atopic allergy. Atopic allergy is mediated by IgE antibodies. The IgE antibodies are present on the surface of mast cells. In case of atopic allergy, there is a family history. Anaphylaxis is a severe form of allergic reaction resulting in a widespread response throughout the vascular system and closely associated tissues. In anaphylaxis, the entire vascular system is involved. There is vasodilation throughout the body. There is increased capillary permeability, which causes the exudation of plasma from the vascular system into the tissues, and this can even result into circulatory shock. Slow reacting substance of anaphylaxis can also cause spasm of bronchiolar smooth muscles. Another manifestation of allergic reaction is urticaria. It's a localized allergic reaction occurring in the skin where the antigen has entered into the skin. Urticaria is a localized allergic reaction involving skin. Next is hay fever. Hay fever is characterized by sneezing and increased secretory activity of nasal mucosa due to allergen reagent reaction. Allergen reagent reaction means allergen is the substance to which the person shows hypersensitivity. Reagent is the antibody which is going to react against the allergen, and it is caused by hay. Since it causes a severe sneezing reaction, it is also known as sneezing syndrome. Asthma can also occur in people due to allergic tendency, and slow reacting substance of anaphylaxis is involved, which cause the spasm of bronchiolar smooth muscles. This slide shows us the mechanism of allergic reactions. Here a pollen is shown, and when there is exposure to the pollen, there is activation of the B cells which form the antibodies. These antibodies are IgE antibodies. The IgE antibodies are attached to the surface of mast cells. When there is exposure to the pollens second time, this will cause antigen antibody reaction at the surface of mast cells, resulting in degranulation of the mast cells. It will release different chemical mediators such as histamines, cytokines. There can be release of the chemotactic factors like eosinophilic chemotactic factor, neutrophilic chemotactic factors, and there can be release of slow reacting substance of anaphylaxis, and these different chemical mediators will cause characteristic symptoms of allergy. So this is the mechanism of allergic reaction, which are the immediate allergic reactions mediated by IgE antibodies. As we just talked, that delayed hypersensitivity reaction is mediated by activated T cells. Repeated exposure to the drugs, cosmetics, or dyes can cause delayed type of allergic reactions. For example, poison ivy. Repeated exposure to the poison ivy can cause a delayed type of hypersensitivity reaction. Next is transplantation of tissues and organs. Now, the tissues and the organs can be transplanted from one person to the other person, or tissues can be transplanted from one part of the body to the other parts of the body. So, different types of transplants can be autograft, grafts, isograft, allograft, and xenograft. In autograft, tissue is taken from one part of the body and it is grafted into the same individual in another part of the body. Example of autograft is skin grafting. Skin from one part of the body is taken and it is grafted at another part of the body. And vascular grafting is another example of autograft. Then isograft is another type of transplant in which the tissue is taken from one person and it is grafted or transplanted into another person who is the identical twin. So, in simple words, we can say that transplantation of the tissues between the two identical twins is the isograft. Then is allograft. In allograft grafting, tissue is taken from one person and it is transplanted into another person of the same species. Sorry, tissue is taken from one individual and it is transplanted to another individual who is from the same species. In xenografting, tissue is taken from one species and it is transplanted into a living being of another species, such as transplantation of tissue from an animal to the human. This is an example of xenograft. Allograft is transplantation of tissue from one person, from one human being to another human being who are not the twins. And isograft is grafting between two twins. And in autograft, the tissue is taken from one part of the body and is transplanted in the other part of the body. Now, the transplanted tissues can be rejected because of the fact that antigens are also present on the surface of other cells of the body. So, these antigens can trigger the immune response, and this immune reaction against the transplanted tissue can cause their rejection. To prevent the transplant rejection, there should be some measures should be taken. The most important thing is tissue typing. In tissue typing, the antigens present on the surface of white cells are most important, which must be typed, and these antigens are HLA antigens, or these are human leukocyte antigens. So, tissue typing is done before transplantation so that there is less chance of the transplant rejection. Then suppression of immune system can be done since immune system it is activated against the antigens of the transplanted tissue. So if the immune system in the recipient is suppressed for a certain period of time, the likelihood of rejection of the transplanted tissue is decreased. The immune system can be suppressed by using the steroid hormones or different drugs like azathioprine, or by using the drugs which can block the formation of helper T cells. So there are different methods available, there are different drugs available which can suppress the immune system, and there is tissue typing is also done. So these measures will help to prevent the immune reactions in the transplanted tissue, and these will increase the possibility of success of the transplanted tissue. So with this we have finished the topic of immunity, and I hope you all of you have understood it. This is very important chapter from blood physiology. When you see the past questions, a number of questions have come from this chapter. So a few of the questions I have just listed down. For example, in the past, the question has been like, what are the types and the functions of T lymphocytes? Then define and classify immunity. List four mechanisms by which antibodies directly act on the invading antigen. What is the difference between active and passive immunity? What are the types of T lymphocytes? Give at least one function of each. Then last is classify white blood cells and enumerate the functions of helper T lymphocytes. So I would suggest that all of you must try to attempt these questions. We have covered all these questions in our discussion on immunity. And that's all for today. I wish you happy Ramazan, and I request you all to pray a lot from Allah so that we are lifted out of this situation of corona crisis we're facing these days. Thank you.